Welcome to the Big Sky. I'm Anthony Crescenzo. This week we saw Eastern Washington win, Cal Poly pull the upset in Montana, and North Dakota managed to win in Montana State. But first up, number 5, Eastern Washington's win over the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks, 50-35, was led by re-entering starting quarterback Gage Gubrud. After a less than stellar performance last week, he reunited with his number 1 receiver, All-American Cooper Kupp. The two connected for 11 passes and 111 yards, attracting enough attention that Shaq Hill and Nick Splendorolio were able to catch a touchdown each. Gubrud rushed for 100 yards and a touchdown himself. He was aided in the rushing scores by Antoine Cluster and Tamarick Pierce, who ran for 2 each. Gubrud went 36 for 57 and 392 yards in the air. The Lumberjacks QBs did a good job between Case Cookus and Blake Kemp, totaling 322 yards and 4 touchdowns, 2 of those going to Moorhand. Kendall Taylor carried for 112 yards and caught 4 passes for an additional 56 yards. He had 1 score rushing and 1 receiving. The issue was that Eagles' secondary was on fire. 3 interceptions between Delando Tucker, Nizuzi Webster, and Zach Bruce. Bruce returned his interception for 50 yards. Cal Poly gets the upset of the week, in my opinion, against the number 6 Montana Grizzlies, 42-41, overcoming a 10-point deficit at halftime. I know I said it last week, Cal Poly should be ranked if this game is close. If you were looking for offense, this game had it. Montana's Jerry Louis McGee tied the Big Sky record from 1985 with 21 catches. He also caught both of Brady Gustafson's touchdowns. He totaled 155 all-purpose yards. Jerry Calhoun ran in 3 scores. Gustafson went 47 for 59, only 1 interception and 418 passing. The Mustangs were finding any way to score. Dano Graves threw for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns, finding Joe Prothro, Kyle Lewis, and Corey Fox. Graves also rushed one in, joining Kyle Lewis and Corey Garcia. Prothro picked up 115 all-purpose yards, while Kyle Lewis had 100 yards to add to his 2 touchdowns on the day. The unranked Mustangs have now beaten 2 ranked teams in a row in regulation. I'm just making that point. Idaho State defeated Sacramento State 42-34. That's a great win at home. North Dakota took Montana State 17-15. The Fighting Eagles beat a defensive-minded Bobcats team by intercepting Tyler Brugman 3 times. Southern Utah over Portland State 45-31. Weber State beat UC Davis 38-35. This game would have gone into overtime, but Weber State's Taylor Hintz hit a 35-yard field goal to give the Wildcats the W. My offensive player of the week this week? Montana's Jerry Louis McGee. He tied 1985 Montana State's David Prant with 21 receptions. He caught 2 touchdowns for 155 through the air. My defensive players of the week are 2 players from Southern Utah. Tyler Collett for his 8 tackles and 2 interceptions, and Jermaine Daub for later getting a 98-yard pick 6. I'd be worried about this secondary going forward. This week's matchups, Cal Poly at North Dakota. UC Davis travels to Eastern Washington. Northern Arizona meets up with Northern Colorado. Southern Utah visits Montana. Idaho State goes to Portland State. Montana State trucks west to Sacramento State. As much as I think that Cal Poly in North Dakota is the game you'll all be watching, the most important game for the Mustangs is going to be Montana's home game against Southern Utah. The winner in Grand Forks, North Dakota can keep pace with Eastern Washington, but even the Eagles want to see the Grizzlies have a great showing for the sake of Big Sky. The Grizz obviously lost position with the loss to Cal Poly, and the Fighting Hawks were really good against Montana State. But for the sake of the winner of the Cal Poly and North Dakota game to be taken seriously by FCS ranking polls, the Grizzlies have to pull out the beast against Southern Utah. And if Southern Utah forces 4 fumbles against Brady Gustafson like they did this past week, we're going to be talking about them a lot more. For the Grizzlies, they're going to need the win to stay in the top 25. I feel even with the loss, Montana is a top 10 team, but I also feel Cal Poly deserves to be moved up. By the way, if you're looking at the conference rankings, now number 11 Montana is the underdog to now number 24 Southern Utah.